Hello everyone, my name is Chirag Patil and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is another video in LangChain series in which we will see how we can use multiple chain, right? And we will also see how we can run multiple chain in a parallel order, right? So it will save the time. So let's get started. So I am starting with where we left, right? In previous video, we had built a simplest application which is prompt model and output parser chain, right? So now we will add another chain and see how it works, okay? So just giving the brief, this code is about we had just created one application using LangChain in which we are providing a topic and it will generate a title for it. Okay. So now what I am doing, I will add another chain which can generate a story from the provided title, right? So first chain, this will generate a title and that output we will pass to the another chain and that chain will generate a story, right? So let's start. So first of all, let me rename some variables, right? So let's see, it can be a title prompt, right? So in title prompt we have written generate a catchy title for a story about topic we will pass from the user input and keep it engaging and informative, right? So now let's build another prompt. Let's say a story prompt, right? Prompt template dot from template. Let's write the prompt like you are a talented story writer. Okay, let's write, let me write in 3 quotation. Okay, so it will, yeah, you are a talented story writer. Your task is to craft, craft a story for given topic, right? So let's provide a topic. So it is not a topic, it would be title, right? For the title, because we are generating title from the title chain and another will be from the story chain. These are the basic prompt of it, right? Okay, so now we have our story prompt. Let's create a chain for it. Let me write it the outside, okay, here. So this will be our chain, title chain. This will be now title prompt, and we are doing nothing, it will be the same, right? The prompt model and str output parser. Okay, so let's say story chain, it will be a story prompt, and our final chain will be, let's say final chain is equal to, we can create like this. We can simply like title chain and then story chain. So what will happen, whatever the output of the title chain will be passed to the story chain here, right? Let me write here title, and then whatever the answer of the story chain will save in the final chain's output. Okay, so now we need to invoke here final channel will print simple a response here. Okay, so let's run and see how it is working. So let's say streamlit run app.py. Yep. So let me provide the title AI and machine learning, same as previous video. Okay, so let's run creating your title. So this is nothing but a spinner which we had defined here. Okay, so it is not like it is only generating the title. Let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, yeah, so here you can see we have title and whole story is generated, right? But if you see, this is that story which is generated by the AI, right? We don't have the actual title. Title is printed here, but we cannot access here the title, right? Sorry, it's run again. So we are not extracting the title here separately, so we can utilize it at somewhere, right? So this title is part of the story, not as an output of first chain, right? So to access a intermediate output, okay, so let's say I need to extract the title from this title chain and we can utilize somewhere else, right? So for that we need to use a runnable pass through. Okay, so let's see what I am saying here. Okay, so let me import first from LangChain dot core, sorry, LangChain underscore core dot runnables. So runnables is one kind of protocol in the LangChain which supports like invoke, streaming and batching operation, right? So you can think like the chain is also one part of runnable, right? So let's say runnables import runnable pass-through. Okay. So there is a method about runnable pass-through assign that will provide output in some particular variable, right? So let's write. So I will, instead of writing this chain, I am writing, let's say, let me comment it for the reference. Now final chain will be, let's use the tuple. Okay, so first let's say I want title, right? Title will be output of title chain, right? Sorry, let me write title chain. So runnable pass-through provide a way to access intermediate output, right? So title chain output you can directly access, right, by running title chain. But what if after there is one chain and you need to access the in between output, right? So here we can write runnable pass-through dot assign, and here you need to pass the variable name in which you want the output, right? So I will write, let's say, story, and the output of the story chain will be stored in the story variable, right? So now our final chain is this. We are providing the topic here and we will get the title here, and in the story variable it will basically provide a JSON. In story we will find our basically output of the story chain. So let's run and see. Okay, so LangChain, okay, spelling mistake. Okay, it would be LangChain. Let's save, refresh. Yeah, so let me write again AI and machine learning. Let's press enter. It will take few seconds. Okay, it's taking a while. Yeah, so if you see, we get the output in a JSON format, right? So now this title you can access separately, sorry, and then story also you can access separately, right? So story content is title in the whole story part, but not the separately. So we here receive a title and story in a separate variable, right? So that's why we are using runnable pass-through, so you can access the output of each and every chain. Okay, so this is how we can run a chain in the sequential format. Okay, but what if there is some chain we can run parallel, right, which is not dependent on each other? So for that we need to use again runnable, but it will be a parallel runnable, right? So let me stop it. And so let's suppose I am generating one title, okay, and based on that title I need to provide two things. One can be let's say story, and another can be let's say poem or joke or something, right? So how we can achieve this? So let me write, so let it be story chain would be there. Okay, let it be very simple. Okay, so let's say title will be what we can write, let's say AI and machine learning itself. Okay, so now we have title. From the title we need to generate two things, story and poem. Okay, so there are not in, they both are independent, right? Story and poem, they are not related to each other, depend on each other. So let's define another prompt. Okay, so let's say poem chain, and it will be, we need to write again a prompt, right? So let's say poem prompt template dot from template. Let's use the same prompt. Okay, we will modify it simply. You are a talented, let's say, poem writer, and your task is to craft a poem for given title. Simple. And here there is type, it would be story, right? So now we will provide a title in both, and we basically need to run the chain in the parallel format. Okay, so let me comment it as well. It is nothing but a simple with the runnable pass through. Now let's say final chain. So now we have two chains. Okay, so poem chain will use poem prompt and model and string output parser, same, right? Now we need to run this both in the parallel format. So let's use final chain will be, we will use from the runnable, we need to input runnable parallel, right? So let's say runnable parallel. So this runnable parallel will run both chain in the parallel order. In here, if you see, this both chain are running in a sequential order, right? So let's build final and we will see how this time is reduced, right, when we are using parallel run. So let's say runnable parallel and we need to pass two chains. Okay, so basically one will be, let's say story, will be story chain, and then next will be, let's say poem, and it will be poem chain. So the output of a story chain will be stored in the story variable and the output of poem chain will be stored in the poem variable, right? So now simple, we need to invoke this final and we are passing a topic here. Okay, so both are considering this title, so we need to update it. Instead of topic we need to write title, right? Title, let's provide a title, right? So title we had defined here. Okay, so now let's see how it is providing the response. Okay, so let's same AI machine learning and run it. So we will get two output, one is poem, another is story, and after that we will see how time actually consume when we are doing sequential and we are doing parallel, right? Okay, so if you see, we get the story, it's a long story, and then there is a poem, right? Yep, so we receive this both. Now let's see simple how it takes time. Okay, so let me create a new file here. Let's say test parallel, right? We will utilize the same libraries here. Let me copy actually whole code and we will remove whatever you want, right? So we don't require this part. Let's remove everything. We don't want streamlit here. Okay, so let's simply comment the streamlit code. We don't require it as of now because we will see the time in the terminal. Okay, so topic we don't require. Yeah, so now let's me import time. T is equal to, let's say time, let's say st, which is start time. Okay, now we will invoke story chain dot invoke. We will pass title will be this title, right? And now let's calculate the end time as well. Okay, so print time, let me use f string. Okay, f time taken for story time dot time minus t, sorry, it would be st, right? So same, we'll do the same thing. But instead of story, now we will use poem chain, time for poem, this much, right? Now let's run our runnable parallel chain, right? So I will just use the simple code here which we had created. Okay, let's say final chain, same code will work. So if we title and time taken for parallel chain, let's write poem chain and story chain, right? So this will print how runnable parallel is efficient, right? So let's start. Let's run it. Okay, so instead of poem chain, it will be final chain, right? So now let's run and see Python test parallel. It will take few seconds. A story will take more time because we need to generate more token in the story comparatively to poem, right? Let's see. Okay, so story takes 11 seconds, poem takes 2.75. So overall it should require 13 to 14 seconds, right? Now let's see how parallel takes time. It will take around 11.12 seconds, I think, because both are running parallel. Okay, so it's take 18 seconds. Okay, so it's depend. Let's run it again. Okay, let's do one thing. Okay, to calculate this, let's provide some specific words, right? You should generate in 100 words. Let's say given story, let me write one instruction here, right? Story contains maximum 100 words. Okay, so just to compare, like, and let's say here as well, poem must contain, okay, poem contains maximum 100 words. We can restrict it by when we are calling the model as well, but let's do it by the prompt as of now to make it simple. Okay, so it should be poem, not poem. Okay, cool. Now let's see, because when you are generating more token, right, it will take more time. But what if we only have 100 seconds, 100 words? Okay, let's see. Yeah, so now if you see here, story takes 2.71 seconds, right? And same poem takes 2.0. So if you run sequentially, it should take at least 4 seconds, right? But when you are running it parallel, it's taking only 2.6 seconds. So let's run it again and see. The output is time is persistent, right? Because we need to generate same tokens. Yeah, so if you see here, it generates only 1.84 seconds, right? So it will be always faster instead of a sequential running, right? But make sure those two chains are always should be independent of each other, right? They should not depend on each other, otherwise you cannot run it parallel, right? Yep, so this is all about how to work with multiple chain in sequential in a parallel manner, right? So if you like my video, please press like button and subscribe my channel for more content. And if you have any doubt, please write in the comment section, we can discuss there. Thank you.